ones that members feel deeply about. While vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum and debate. Witnesses are here today voluntarily, and I will continue to remind members that while oversight is important, aggressively attacking witnesses personally is inappropriate and not in keeping with the best traditions of our committee. And I now recognize the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Burkeen, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the witnesses. I want to start with a display over my shoulders. And this is something that is not specific only to Oklahoma. This is something that every member of this committee, if you will go to the DHS website, every constituent of every member of Congress, if you're curious of really the dark days, I want you to go to the DHS website and I want you to look at those not far from where you live, moms and dads, the arrest of illegal aliens who were preying on minors. Just because of a really intentional act by Kate Bryan on my staff to go a couple of weeks ago and look just in eastern Oklahoma, on the right side of me here. Just in eastern Oklahoma, I represent almost all the entirety of eastern Oklahoma. These are just the individuals, heinous acts, to include those with children. And yet I want to read you in a wider, to my left over here, what is happening in the state of Oklahoma. This person was picked up. Angel Nix, sexual exploitation of a minor. Renton Andrew, molestation of a minor. Chan Truding, child fondling. Feliciano Garcia, enticement of a minor. Caetano Lopez, statutory rape. Erasmo Avila, rape and lewd acts with a minor. So for everyone who is in short-term memory, it's the way things operate in the court of public opinion, everyone is looking and you're forgetting the conversations you were having 2 and 3 years ago. If you had teenage kiddos wanting to go outside of your home and you knew that they were going to go to Dallas, Texas, or some city, and you knew that you had to have a conversation with them with what was happening, the 15 million you knew were in the country illegally, that you had no idea what they would be doing, who would they be preying upon. And moms and dads, don't you feel just a little bit safer if we're going to be gut level honest? That's the realization of what the generational opportunity this administration has afforded this country. It's the ability to feel safe over the madness of opening the border for that 4-year period that allowed 15 million people. You don't know where they came from. You don't know their background. You don't know their history. And this that is occurring right now is designed to make sure we have law and order in this country. If you do not have law and order, you don't have prosperity. So to all those who are second-guessing the reactionary moments, to the law enforcement who have to respond in real time, the quarterback who's questioned Monday morning because he's facing the 300-pound defensive lineman, it's easy to do that. But law enforcement walks out of their home every day and is faced with life or death questions. And we have to understand they are the ones who are affording us the opportunity for our children to feel safe against these that are in your backyard. It's not just in the north. It's not just in Minneapolis. It's not just in Minnesota. They're in every state in the country. Go to the Department of Homeland Security website and Google your area and look at who's being picked up in your backyard. That's how we recenter this conversation to truth. I want your children protected. I am grateful for this president who wants your children protected and an administration. The same playbook is happening now to create chaos and take your eye off the real goal, which is to secure our communities, to get back to a place of safety. Mr. Lyons, can you describe, because of not allowing these people to stay in jails, these sanctuary cities are letting them go, thousands released from jail because they will not cooperate with ICE. And when ICE tries to execute a detainer, ask them to hold a criminal illegal alien for potential deportation, how is this compared with other non-sanctuary city regions in the country?
Sir, it's night and day. With the jurisdictions that we do have cooperation, we're able to take that individual in a safe, secure environment. Not only is it a safe, secure environment for the officers and agents, but it's also for the individual and the community, because we only need 1 to 2 officers to make that arrest, where now we're historically 5 or 6, we need up to 15.
From what you've seen in terms of protest in Minnesota and elsewhere, do you get the sense these agitators are trying to provoke your agents into reactions?
Yes, sir.
Can you expound upon that?
We've seen multiple times, and unfortunately, we saw like the shooting in Dallas where agitated groups use apps to identify the location of ICE officers, sometimes prior to even the law enforcement action begins, and sometimes using those apps put the officers and as well as other federal agencies and local agencies with them in danger because it exposes the fact of where a law enforcement operation is happening.
Mr. Scott, can you describe how the 300,000 children, the UACs, unaccompanied minors, that we're trying to find them, how these protests are stopping us from being able to recover those?
Gentleman will respond in writing to that question. I now recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Kennedy, for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Lyons, your written testimony today does not make one single mention of Renee Nicole Good or Alex Preddy. Not one. 2 American citizens have been murdered at the hands of your agency, and you have deliberately chosen under oath before Congress to ignore these tragedies. And so today, in my 5 minutes, I look forward to getting the American people some answers and some accountability that I believe they deserve. Mr. Lyons, I have some simple yes or no questions. Do you believe the U.S. Constitution provides due process for everyone in this country?
Yes.
Do you believe American citizens have the right to protest freely without being assaulted or killed by our government?
Yes.
Do you believe there should be an independent investigation when an innocent person is killed by a law enforcement agency in this country?
Yes.
Do you believe your agency has a legal obligation to follow court orders?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Lyons, you have a very strange way of showing it with a federal judge finding that your agency is in violation of 96 orders in 1 month alone, and that's just Minneapolis, Minnesota. This administration and the agencies represented before us have shown a complete and utter disregard for the law and the Constitution. Renee Nicole Good and Alex Preddy, both American citizens, both dead at the hands of federal agents. Alex Preddy was a VA ICU nurse who dedicated his life to healing people, healing veterans. I worked as an occupational therapist for over a decade. In that video that we've all seen, it was Alex Preddy who was doing what healthcare workers do, what nurses do. They help people who are hurting, help people who are in trouble. In this case, helping a fellow peaceful protester who was shoved to the ground right before your agents shot him 10 times. And we're now learning that FBI Director Kash Patel stopped the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota from investigating the death of Ms. Good because of fear that an investigation would contradict President Trump's falsehoods that she violently, willfully, and viciously ran down an agent. 6 federal prosecutors resigned rather than participate in a cover-up. Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, and you, Mr. Lyons, have appointed yourselves judge, jury, and executioner, allowing American citizens to be gunned down in our streets with impunity. We all know the president is a liar. He's sold snake oil his entire life, but he can't tell us and the American people that we did not see with our own eyes what we saw in that video. 2 Americans shot dead in cold blood. The American people aren't stupid like he thinks we are. The fact that our government murders American citizens, lies about it, and then refuses to investigate or seek justice is beyond abhorrent. It's un-American. Mr. Lyons, in America, we shouldn't have secret police. We shouldn't have masked government agents executing citizens in the streets. The Constitution does not give your agency the right to hide their faces while they kill Americans.